Walter Bruce Willis was born on March 19th in West Germany in the city of Idar Oberstein. Bruce is half German. His mother, Marlene, was a pure-blood German, and his father, David, was an American who came to Germany to serve in the army. Then, love happened. His family moved to his father's homeland in New Jersey when the future actor was 2 years old. Bruce became the eldest of 4 children. He has a brother, David, and a sister, Florence. The second brother, Robert, died of cancer in 2001. The Willises were a working family. His father worked for different years as a welder, a mechanic, and a worker at a factory. His mother worked part-time in a bank. The breakup of his parents affected him so much. Bruce stayed with his father, and their mother took the other 3 children. Our family kind of exploded and everybody went off on their own. The boy grew up insecure. He studied well at school but suffered from severe stuttering. Willis was saved by an unexpected thing. He auditioned for a role in a school play, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, and realized that he no longer stuttered when he was on stage. After that, Bruce began to play regularly on stage. It helped him overcome the speech feature, as well as become very popular in class. Each performance added self-confidence to him. This experience made a big impact on the young actor. It was at that time when Willis formed his image of an ironic, sarcastic guy who doesn't give a damn about anything. Later, having become a world star, he would meticulously hone his lines and answers, try to maintain his own image of Bruce Willis, and make sure that he does not stutter again before each interview and performance. In parallel, the boy's love for music was traced. He tried to sing, playing along on the harmonica. School friends gave Bruce the nickname Buck Buck. The young man became the chairman of the student council in high school, even though the future star did not take his studies too seriously. Bruce was eventually expelled from school for participating in a big fight. The adventures of the future star did not end there. When he turned 19, he was arrested for drugs, for 2 joints, one behind each ear. Bruce searched for his place for some time after leaving school in 1973. He worked as a security guard at the Salem nuclear power plant, was a bus driver for the DuPont chemical company, and studied the business of a private detective. But nothing could satisfy his aspirations, and he was finally convinced of the path he had once planned: to become a professional actor. He did not have enough patience to master academic knowledge despite his aspirations. Bruce studied for a year at Montclair State University and dropped out, and graduated only years later by correspondence. The thirst for activity led him to New York, where Bruce knocked on the doors of theaters. The young actor skipped classes to audition for plays since the college was only 20 minutes from New York. They did not want to take him anywhere for a long time. Finally, Bruce got a role in the play Off-Broadway, after which he immediately dropped out of his education. It was 1977 and he was 22 years old. Working in the theater did not particularly bring income. That's why the guy had to earn extra money either as a bartender or as a waiter. Willis got a job in a popular New York bar called Central, where actors like to hang out. A short career as a waiter also did not work out due to sluggishness, but the actor was remembered to people as a good bartender. He impressed visitors with his appearance: a torn t-shirt, wide trousers that looked like a parachute, roller skates, and a colored headband. He hummed songs, played the harmonica, and joked while wandering around the hall. Bruce's bar colleagues gave him the nickname Bruno. Willis starred only in episodic roles as well as commercials, while there were no great successes in film and television. The debut appearance on the screen was the first participation of the young man in a fragment of the scene of the film The First Deadly Sin, which the audience saw in 1980. The guy was noticed in the bar by the casting director and invited to try himself. You can see the young actor in the episode when Frank Sinatra comes out of the bar, followed by a man in a cap. It was Bruce. We also saw Willis in the episodic role as an observer in the court in the film The Verdict 2 years later. Willis starred in a commercial for Levi's in 1984. His appearance turned out to be powerful, even though the actor was given only a few seconds at the end of the video. Made some good dough for the first time when $100 seemed like $1 million, the actor recalled.
Levi's 501 blues. Love them blues. Oh yeah.
In addition to commercials, Bruce appears on the television series Miami Vice, playing Tony Amato, a brutal international arms dealer who is closely watched by the FBI. A breakthrough in the actor's career happened in 1985 after he participated in the detective series Moonlighting, playing one of the main roles. Initially, they wanted to refuse Bruce. The representative of the TV channel considered it inappropriate for the role of a private detective of a guy with an earring in his ear, a punk hairstyle, and in a military uniform. But the director of the series, Glenn Gordon Caron, saw in the guy the impudence and charisma and allowed him to participate in the auditions with Sybil Shepherd.
Nah, wait a second. Can't fool me. The eyes don't lie. Not these babies. Photographic. See something once and it's locked in there forever.
Really? I didn't notice anything locked in there.
No.
The actress who was already approved for the second main role. Thus, Bruce got the opportunity to prove himself in a major project, bypassing almost 3,000 contenders for the role. It was rumored that the passion and quarrels between Sybil and Willis were not only on the screen, but also behind the scenes. Although the actor himself denied this, we would disagree about how scenes should be played, but that's part of the process, he said, as well as denied sexual attraction. There were hot days, days when things might have sparked or something, but there was nothing to report.
Fine.
Fine.
Good.
Good.
Bitch.
Bastard. Get out. Get out!
Bruce became very popular after a few episodes. The series was nominated for 16 Emmy Awards, including in the Best Actor category after the second season. It was not only nominated, but also won, among others, in 1987. Later, Bruce admitted that such fame was unexpected for him. The ratings began to decline by the end of the third season, partly due to the development of love relations between the main characters and partly due to Sybil's pregnancy. Bruce's fading interest in the weekly series also added fuel to the fire. Popularity attracted the actor to a big film. Willis stated that he would never star in a TV series again after filming Moonlighting. But after a while, he nevertheless broke his word by playing a cameo role in Friends. But there was a special reason for this, which we will discuss later. Willis got his first major film role in the romantic comedy film Blind Date, directed by Blake Edwards in 1987. The actor's partner in filming was Kim Basinger, who got the role of the protagonist's lover. Bruce again got a comedic, slightly ridiculous character, Walter Davis. He was always kidding and was not very serious about what was happening. As we will see later, it was difficult for Bruce to get rid of the comical image. The actor did not forget about commercial advertising projects. In the same year, he starred in a video for the alcohol brand Seagram's, together with Sharon Stone. Cooperation with the brand lasted for many years later. Passion for music has become a kind of hobby of the actor. In 1987, he recorded and released his first album, The Return of Bruno, named after his old nickname. The album consisted of 10 songs in the style of blues and soul. Willis performed the main vocal part throughout.
I feel so good today.
The album became quite successful. It took 14th place on the national Billboard 200 list, the song Respect Yourself took 5th place on the American charts, and the composition Under the Boardwalk went up to 2nd place in the UK national chart. Bruce met actress Demi Moore at the premiere of the detective comedy Stakeout on August 5, 1987. Love took their heads off and they got married on November 21st. In her autobiography, the actress shared her memory. No one believed in the seriousness of their relationship, as the actor had a reputation of a womanizer and a drinker. The actress thought different. In an interview, she admitted that Bruce is fully ready to open his arms and give her love. And she was not mistaken. Willis gave up alcohol and went headlong into the family. Their first of 3 daughters, Rumer Glenn Willis, was born a year later. Scout LaRue and Tallulah Bell were born in 1991 and 1994. By the way, Bruce loves to cook. The film actor admitted in one of his interviews that he even attended various cooking courses to cook delicious food for his beloved daughters. Bruce competed with actors such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Harrison Ford, and Richard Gere, but they all turned down the job for various reasons. The role was specially rewritten for Willis after he was approved. Instead of a brutal lone hero with iron fists with a meager emotional spectrum, he was a lively, sensual, and humorous guy who periodically deals with bad guys.
I'm a cop from New York.
New York?
Yeah. Got invited to the Christmas party by mistake. Who knew?
The film had overwhelming success. Box office exceeded all expectations of the creators, and so it was decided to shoot 2 more sequels. Willis received $5 million for his role, which greatly alarmed the industry and the media because it was a really huge fee at that time. Alan Ladd Jr., then chairman of MGM, complained that such a salary was a standard that would throw the whole movie business out of whack. However, the distributor of Die Hard, 20th Century Studios, insisted Willis was worth it, only he was able to carry off an action hero who had walked in off the street, so happy and cynical that he seemed to nod to the fact that he was in a movie. But, as you know, 3 films about Die Hard were not enough, and as a result, the world saw 5 sequels: Die Hard 2 in 1990, Die Hard 3 Retribution in 1995, Die Hard 4.0 in 2007, Die Hard A Good Day to Die in 2013, and Die Hard Year One in 2019. Offers poured in after the very first movie, and a new role was assigned to Willis. It was the role of the world's savior with a great sense of humor who can get out of any situation. But it also had another side. If Willis was worth $5 million, he had to prove it, becoming an atypical modern main role actor, some kind of Hudson Hawk of Hollywood. Of course, Willis was recognized by the whole of Hollywood, but it never again let the established image be forgotten. In addition to the famous role in 1988, another less-known film with Bruce was released. It was Sunset by Blake Edwards. The actor got the main role of Tom Mix, a Western actor who by chance is forced to become a real detective. The film did not come out very well, receiving the Golden Raspberry for the worst director. After Die Hard, Bruce starred in Norman Jewison's drama In Country, which was released in 1989. He got the role of the main character's uncle who was trying to shed light on the life of his dead brother and the girl's father. Willis was nominated for this role for the Golden Globe Film Award, despite the lack of a plot and insignificant box office. Soon, we could hear the voice of Willis in Amy Heckerling's romantic comedy Look Who's Talking. He voiced the film's protagonist, a toddler named Mikey. The stars of the time, John Travolta and Kirstie Alley, became his partners on the set.
Now that is a little more like it. Whoa. Hey, here's Mr. Hand here. Wow. Oh, now that is very cosmic. I don't understand. Whoa.
The movie received mixed reviews from critics, but despite this, it became a hit and grossed $297 million. Therefore, it was not surprising that soon the audience was able to see the continuation in the form of the second part in 1990. It was followed by the role of journalist Peter Fallow in the 1990 American comedy The Bonfire of the Vanities, directed by Brian De Palma. But the attempt was unsuccessful. The tragic comedy received 5 nominations for the Golden Raspberry. It was one of the few works by Bruce in which he agreed with the assessment of film critics. "I would not do it again, given the opportunity," he said about the film. One of the cult films with Willis that the world saw was Hudson Hawk by Michael Lehmann, which was released in 1991. In the next comedy, the actor got the role of Eddie Hawkins, a conscientious thief who was trying to resist an insidious corporation. The film received mixed reviews, became very popular in the world, and grossed $80 million at the box office and performed well on home video. The film was criticized in the United States. The average rating barely reached 4 out of 10, and the box office was only $17 million. Leading film critics were ruthless. Roger Ebert disliked the movie, describing it as a complete disaster. Variety called the film a relentlessly annoying clay duck that crash lands in a sea of wretched excess and silliness. Those willing to check their brains at the door may find sparse amusement. But the actor did not agree with the critics. In one of the interviews, he said that he considers their assessments to be biased, especially when it came to his acting. Perhaps it was that first negative experience that influenced the subsequent way Bruce chose the roles. Later, he would say, "I chose the role that I like. In the future, the actor will be easier to assess his work." In addition to Hawk, in the same year, 2 more films with Bruce's participation were released: the action comedy The Last Boy Scout by Tony Scott and the trailer for Mortal Thoughts by Alan Rudolph. They were warmly welcomed. The Last Boy Scout was very difficult to implement due to the conflict between the writer, director, and studio, who had different visions of the visual presentation of the material. The studio wanted to do something similar to Die Hard with the formula of explosions every 10 minutes of the film, and therefore they constantly made adjustments both to the script itself and to the final material. This naturally affected the atmosphere on the set, making it very tense. Bruce, as expected, was assigned the role of a champion of morality and justice, and the part-time private detective Joe Hallenbeck, who, with the hero Damon Wayans, are trying to unravel a series of murders and trying their hand against the mafia. Willis was to play with the charming Demi Moore in his next film, Mortal Thoughts. It was an unusual role for the actor who was used to playing only positive characters. That time, he needed to play a cruel drug addict husband and a rapist who was overtaken by karma. Interestingly, many scenes of the film were partially improvised, and no one knew what the ending would be until the film crew started shooting. Mortal Thoughts received 2 nominations, the Chicago Film Critics Association Awards and the National Society of Film Critics Awards, but the actor didn't receive any award. Another great comedy in the actor's filmography was Death Becomes Her by Robert Zemeckis, where Bruce worked in tandem with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn. As you remember, the role of Bruce was not too heroic. A drunken husband in an unsuccessful marriage is a traitor and a former plastic surgeon who rarely shows symptoms of courage.
I don't want to live forever. I mean, it sounds good, but what am I gonna do? What if I get bored?
What?
And what if I get lonely? Who am I gonna hang around with, Madeline and Helen? What if something happens to me? What if I get maimed? What if I get shot? What if somebody pushes me down what if I fall down a flight of stairs or something?
But you never grow old.
Yes, but everybody else will. I'll have to watch everyone around me die. I don't think this is right. This is not a dream, this is a nightmare.
The film was technically very difficult to produce, as it was created with the use of computer effects. For example, becoming the first film in which the texture of the skin was reproduced. There were some excesses too. Streep accidentally cut Goldie Hawn's face in a scene where their heroines are fighting with shovels. The black comedy grossed $149 million at the box office, beating production costs, and also pioneered the use of computer-generated effects, winning the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. But critics were less friendly to the film. Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert both gave Death Becomes Her a thumbs down, commenting that while the film had great special effects, it lacked any real substance or character depth. Bruce did not disdain episodic roles either. In the black comedy The Player by Robert Altman, he was given only a cameo, but he was able to hug a half-naked Julia Roberts. Another profitable direction in his work was filming in Japanese commercials. He was lucky enough to become the face of the commercial work of Subaru legacy automobile NTT Dokomoko Mova in the 90s. The work of the actor in several smaller film works came next. Loaded Weapon 1 was released in 1993. It was an American parody of the popular action films. John McClane did not bypass this list, and therefore Bruce appeared in the role that the audience loved, albeit episodically. It was impossible to do without the role of a detective. Roddy Harrington's Striking Distance released the same year. It expanded the actor's list of action movies. The actor was once again in an unchanged image of a serious, brutal man wearing a cap. But there was another problem. Willis actively interfered with the script and, according to the film crew, was very self-willed during filming. This led to production and editing difficulties for the movie. Scenes added by Bruce made the plot so confusing that test audiences who were shown the film criticized it. Because of this, the movie was partially reshot and the actor was very unhappy with it. Moreover, he accused the directors of this and in 2014 said that that movie sucks. Critics agreed with Bruce. The film earned no more than 3 points out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. Owen Gleiberman called the film a flat, dankly lit, grindly inept thriller about a serial killer whose victims all turn out to have been acquaintances of Willis's rumpled, alcoholic cop hero. 1994 did not bring success. American noir film Color of Night by Richard Rush was awarded the Golden Raspberry as the worst film of the year. And even Bruce, in the role of a romantic psychologist, did not save the picture.
No. But I'm still a romantic. I just don't have anybody to be romantic with.
By the way, this film was widely discussed for the scene of underwater sex, where we can notice the actor's genitals. Later, Bruce admitted that he agreed to do this scene only because the director promised him to show the final result and cut out shots that the actor would not like. But Richard Rush did not keep his promise. The actor himself was not happy with the situation. Willis played a minor role as a not-too-pleasant type of contractor for whom the protagonist, played by Paul Newman, worked intermittently in Robert Benton's comedy-drama film Nobody's Fool. The audience highly appreciated Bruce's work, calling it quite solid, despite the specific role. The film was nominated for an Oscar, a Golden Bear, and a Golden Globe, and also won the Berlin Film Festival Award for Best Actor, unfortunately not addressed to Willis. But if you have not seen the brutal Willis in the image of the Easter Bunny, then, I will surprise you, there was such a thing. He reincarnated several more times, being the image of either a wise fairy or the guardian angel of the protagonist in the family comedy North by Rob Reiner. But the implementation failed. The box office was only $12 million with $40 million spent, and received mostly negative reviews from critics who called the film one of the worst films of the year. Among other things, the film had multiple nominees for the Golden Raspberry Award in the Worst Film and Worst Director categories. But then it happened. Quentin Tarantino created his famous masterpiece, Pulp Fiction, which has become a cult. The success of the film was facilitated by the original, inherently non-linear script and excellent cast in the faces of John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Bruce Willis, Christopher Walken, Steve Buscemi, and Quentin Tarantino himself. Willis got one of his most striking roles. It was Butch Coolidge, a professional boxer who tries to act by his own rules.
Little Lobos. Is that Mexican?
My name is Spanish, but I'm Colombian.
That's some halo you got there, honey.
Thank you.
Initially, Tarantino wanted to give the role of Butch to Sylvester Stallone, since, according to his idea, the boxer should have been played by an actor with a combat record, who had already achieved Hollywood fame. But in the end, the role went to Bruce, who really wanted to play it. Moreover, this role went to him by accident. Harvey Keitel told Bruce about it during a personal meeting, and the very next day, during Harvey's barbecue, Willis and Tarantino met. They talked for a long time, and the actor admitted that he wanted to star in the film as he really liked the script. The film's premiere was a sensation. It won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, where it was presented and instantly earned a good reputation. At just over $8 million to produce, Pulp Fiction paid off more than 22 times. Todd McCarthy called the movie an exciting pop culture spectacle, an amazing huge success. And Movie Maker summed up the overall impression. The film was nothing short of a national cultural phenomenon. As a result, Pulp Fiction earned several Oscar nominations, winning in the category of Best Original Screenplay, as well as the Golden Globe and BAFTA. Bruce appeared in Terry Gilliam's dystopia 12 Monkeys in 1995, and also had a cameo role in the black comedy 4 Rooms. 4 directors worked on this picture, including Allison Anders, Alexander Rockwell, Robert Rodriguez, and Quentin Tarantino. Willis played for free in 4 Rooms, and even agreed to remove his name from the titles because according to the rules of the Screen Actors Guild, artists have no right to play for nothing. Bruce got the familiar role of the savior of the world in the work of Terry Gilliam. This time, he played James Cole, a prisoner who agreed to participate in an experimental time travel program in the hope of defeating an insidious virus. An incident occurring during the filming, Brad Pitt, who also got a role in the film, called Willis "Oh Mighty Bald One." The latter was not offended. As you understood, by this moment, Bruce had not yet earned his famous bald head. The film paid off at the box office and earned $168 million, as well as many nominations for prestigious film awards. Willis also finally got the award, the Saturn Award for Best Actor. Terry Gilliam said after working together, "Bruce is very powerful when he's still, not blowing up half the known universe." The next year was not very successful. Bruce got the main role in the action movie Last Man Standing. He played mercenary John Smith, who is fighting Mexican gangsters pursuing his own goals. Even though the actor was nice to see in a suit and a felt hat, the movie could hardly be called a masterpiece. Roger Ebert described the film as desperately dull, dry, squeezed, and laconic. Even the movie's hero is bad company. He expressed his attitude towards Bruce's work. The audience was divided in their opinion. Some criticized the weak acting and a lot of noise, as well as those who highly appreciated the acting of the protagonist and the development of the film. Many saw it as a continuation of the role of Die Hard in a new way. Willis did not get rid of his heroic role in the animated series Bruno the Kid, which was created by the actor himself and produced by the independent animation studio Film Roman. In it, Bruce voiced the main character, the same Bruce, only 11 years old. Even the hairstyle hinted at something. In 1997, Willis starred in a film that many viewers have loved for many years. Namely, it was the fantastic thriller The Fifth Element by Luc Besson, where he played in tandem with Milla Jovovich. Corbin Dallas is a taxi driver and ex-military who leads a dull existence until fate literally falls on his head in the form of a charming and gentle Lilu. There was everything: shooting, irony, well-designed images that have become iconic, and great humor. As always, the unshakable and courageous Bruce with dyed hair looks in his place. His image was perfectly set off by other heroes. No one can argue with the cultural influence of The Fifth Element. Many phrases from the film have become popular quotations.
Copy, sweetheart. What was that?
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Yeah.
Multipass.
Multipass. She knows it's a multipass. Lilu Dallas.
Besson came up with the idea of love between a taxi driver and an alien girl in his teens, but he was able to realize it many years later. And then, after the success of the two previous projects, La Femme Nikita and Leon, since before that not a single film studio agreed to give a lot of money for the sake of a young director, he was able to get a credit of trust after receiving international fame. But the first appetites still had to be tempered. It is because of this that he did not expect to get Willis as the main character. "I don't have enough money for your honorarium," Besson said, and heard in response, "Let's agree." Willis liked the script, and they really agreed on friendly money. He later clarified, "Sometimes I can do something just because it's fun and interesting." The Fifth Element became the highest-grossing film in the history of French cinema, earning $264 million, and also received several awards: the César Award, the Lumiere Award, the Golden Screen Award, and an Oscar nomination.
Stay here for 1 minute, I promise.
This is a police control.
Don't touch anything.
This is not an exercise.
Two more projects by Willis were released in the same year. He played cameo roles as an amnesiac patient on Mad About You and Michael Caton Jones's The Jackal, which was a dubious success. Once again, it was indestructible and formidable Bruce in the role of a super killer named Jackal, an elusive master of disguise. Gradually, the actor's career began to slip. But Bruce did not lose his passion for work and tried various projects. Willis was diligently trying to get rid of the role, showing himself as a versatile actor. When choosing roles, he also based on the artistic component. The story was important to him. And the success of some of his works was explained by the lack of the young Willis's wish to participate in the race for awards in the early years. He clearly chose non-standard roles based on his own taste and not from commercial prospects. That was confirmed by an interview with Willis, which he gave to Bobby Wygant on the NBC show in 1988.
Well, I really choose my films to satisfy myself. I don't really concern myself with what I think the audience wants.
But the public was eager to see Bruce Willis as Bruce Willis. The world saw Harold Becker's action drama Mercury Rising in 1998, in which Willis shared the lead role with Alec Baldwin. There was the standard hero image in ragged jeans and a windbreaker, so familiar to us earlier. That time, an FBI officer who was trying to protect a 9-year-old boy with autism who had revealed a secret code. The film brought the actor another Golden Raspberry in the category of Worst Actor. He received another Golden Raspberry after the release of the action movie The Siege by Edward Zwick, in which Bruce played the role of General William Devereux, an antagonist in a film that hardly earned the sympathy of the audience. To be fair, The Siege was different from the standard action movie with the bangs every 10 minutes. There was grim realism, slow development of events, character development, and intellectual component at the core. There were no funny jokes and barbs, which many were looking for in films with Willis. Michael Bay's Armageddon made little difference. The film had an impressive cast: Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler, Billy Bob Thornton, Steve Buscemi, Owen Wilson, and good box office.
That is our courage. The dreams of an entire planet are focused tonight on those 14 brave souls.
I'm happy that the end of the world amuses people so much. Willis commented on the film's popularity at the box office. But that work brought Willis the Golden Raspberry. There were both the film itself and the actor in the nomination for the worst male role. He played the head of a brigade of oil drillers. Bay's work was accused of too loose recourse of the filmmakers to the laws of physics and elementary logic, for technical inconsistencies in the image of the Mir orbital station, and the illiteracy of disclosing the work of astronauts and other gross errors. The director was trying to somehow justify himself for many factual errors, and said that the production studio did not provide the film crew with either resources or time. But the anti-premium did not affect the popularity of the actor. Sony released a shooter for the PlayStation with the telling name Apocalypse in 1998. The main character's face was based on Willis. He was covered with sensors to do that. Catching movements, his face was digitized. Plus, the actor voiced himself. The height of the cinematic career of Bruce and Demi Moore led to the fact that the marriage gradually began to crack. It became difficult for them to balance between career and family. Moore and Willis agreed to build their schedules so that they were shooting at different times and not leave the children without the care of at least one of the parents. But this only led to the fact that the spouses began to spend very little time together. Rumors about the relations between Willis and Liv Tyler during the filming of Armageddon complicated the situation. As a result, the couple broke up in the summer of 1998 after 11 years of marriage, and 2 years later, in 2000, they divorced. In an interview, Bruce admitted that he did not know what happened between them. "I still love Demi. We're very close. We have 3 children whom we will continue to raise together, and we're probably as close now as we ever were. We realize we have a lifelong commitment to our kids. Our friendship continues. It's difficult to live your life and marriage under a magnifying glass, which is what happens to movie star couples." Willis did not hide his joy after the divorce. "The bachelor life is incomparable. I love women." The disillusionment with monogamy led to the fact that over the next 10 years, Bruce will change women like gloves. Nevertheless, the former spouses to this day remain on good terms, supporting each other. 1999 was more successful in terms of a career. Bruce got the role of Dwayne Hoover in Alan Rudolph's tragic comedy Breakfast of Champions, a respectable company owner who slowly goes crazy after reading a book by Kilgore Trout, another main character. Dwayne's mental state becomes so unstable that it drives him to suicide attempts. The movie turned out very expressive, but the comedy did not work out. The film received wide popularity at the box office and was even nominated for a prize at the Berlin Film Festival the same year, despite the loose interpretation of the novel based on which Breakfast of Champions was written. But Willis earned a new round of popularity thanks to another film. It was the mystical drama directed by M. Night Shyamalan, The Sixth Sense. The actor really succeeded in the role of a specialist in the field of child psychiatry, trying to atone for his guilt and correct a mistake. You should notice that it was not comedic. It was far more sweaty t-shirts and gunfights. By the way, Willis had to learn to write with his right hand for his character since he is left-handed in life. The duet of Bruce and Haley Joel Osment was highly appreciated by the audience.
You know what yo no quiero morir means? In Spanish. It means I don't want to die. What do you think these ghosts want when they talk to you?
The film was the #1 at the box office for 5 weeks, grossing over $672 million after release. Critics also praised the film. Willis received 2 nominations at the MTV Movie Awards in the categories of Best Actor and Best Screen Duo with Haley Joel Osment. For the role, the actor earned a tidy sum of $100 million. Bruce remained and remains one of the highest-paid actors despite the ups and downs in his career. Bruce's craving for melodramas was gradually traced. The comedy drama The Story of Us, directed by Rob Reiner, was released in the same year, where Willis and Michelle Pfeiffer played a married couple with 15 years of marriage baggage. But they didn't play very well. In any case, film critics did not believe them. A lack of chemistry between Bruce Willis and Michelle Pfeiffer fatally undermines the dull and predictable Story of Us, the audience summed up. The actor did not lose the opportunity to star in the series in addition to the big movie. In 1999, he appeared in the comedy drama series Ally McBeal as Nickel, Ally's replacement therapist, and he had a small role in the cult TV series Friends in 2000. He got the image of Paul Stevens, the formidable father of the student and lover of Ross Geller, with whom the latter began a relationship in season 6. However, there was an interesting story connected with the appearance of Bruce Willis in the series. It became known after the release of the series that Bruce's participation in Friends was the result of a lost bet with Matthew Perry. This happened during the filming of The Whole 9 Yards, where both actors were involved. Matthew was sure that the film would be very successful after the release and beat the box office, but Willis did not believe in the big success of the picture, and he lost. Bruce is generally a very gambling man. He loves gambling and betting for no reason. He prefers poker to card games. He even won $500,000 at one of the tournaments. A cameo in Friends earned Willis an Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Star, so he made a bet for good reasons. The actor donated the fee for appearing in the sitcom to 5 different charities. The action comedy The Whole 9 Yards by Jonathan Lee, released in 2000, really turned out to be a success, and the duet of Willis and Perry became memorable. Bruce got the remarkable role of hitman named Jimmy Tulip Tedeschi, a charming and cunning professional killer who unsuccessfully tried to live a quiet life.
She's not a good person.
You've killed 17 people, and you don't think my wife is a good person?
It's not important how many people I've killed. What's important is how I get along with the people that are still alive.
It seemed like the role of the philosophizing killer was written for him. It fits perfectly into the image that made Bruce loved and recognizable. Ironically cynical, crafty, charismatic, and cool. It was said that Bruce wanted to get Matthew Perry as a partner so much that he tried to persuade the latter to shoot on his own. But Perry was on vacation, so Willis had to constantly communicate with his answering machine. One day, he left the following message to him, unable to withstand such a fate. "I will cut off your legs, burn your house, and watch you die." Later, this cannibalistic joke was included in the film. As you understood, Matthew was impressed. By the way, the 3 girls running between Tulip and Nick when they were standing at the flower stall are the 3 daughters of Bruce Willis. The Whole 9 Yards grossed $106 million, audience love, and caused a sequel in 2004 that was less successful. Another movie of 2000 was John Turteltaub's drama The Kid, in which Willis played Ross Duritz, a wealthy 40-year-old image consultant. His character achieved a lot, besides what he really dreamed of. He hid from pain and loneliness at work with the help of contempt for other people, and fate magically brought him together with an 8-year-old version of himself. The fate of Walt Disney Pictures films is rarely successful. Well, here again. The film received mixed reviews from critics with a budget of $110 million. It has been called erratically simplistic. Roger Ebert was surprisingly positive about the film. Disney's The Kid is warm-hearted and effective, a sweet little parable that involves a man and a boy who help each other become a better boy and a better man. However, The Kid was nominated for 3 awards, one of which won Young Artist Award.